Hey everybody, welcome to Britpop Chat. You're me, BP1 and BP2. We're back with the lovely Lawrence over at Lost in the Pond YouTube channel.
He's gone all furry.
He has gone all furry. Lawrence has been on the internet a while now, and he does some great videos, obviously being a Brit in America, moving to America.
Yep. He's more American now.
He does, yeah. He's gone all yanked up. 6 American things I can no longer live without, and this was only done a month ago, so it's up to date of the things that he cannot live without. What do you think?
Aircon.
Yeah, what else?
Won't be his big American fridge.
Gotta be food.
Food? Yeah.
Some sort of food in there.
Okay.
Alright. Let's watch it.
Right.
See what it's all about.
See what he's going to enlighten us with. Come on, Lawrence.
I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things and stuff. Specifically, things and stuff that after living in the United States for nearly 16 years, I can no longer live without.
And this video is sponsored by Mondly, who are offering 96% off lifetime access at mondly.app/lostinthepond.
When I first moved here in 2008, I had all these British people saying, "Ooh, don't you become all Americanized?" And I hope those people aren't watching, because as you can see, there's no going back. I have become Americanized to the extent that I am now in fact an American citizen, and because of that, and since I've lived here for so long, you really do start to pick up an attachment to certain things. And people who've been subscribed to this channel for a long time are probably expecting me to say air conditioning right off the bat, because I've done that 1,000 times, and it's because I've done it 1,000 times that I'm not going to do it in this video, but just take it as read that AC ordinarily is one of the things I can't live without, even though I did in Britain for 26 years. And if you aren't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now.
We are subscribed.
In the meantime, here are American things that I can no longer live without.
Subscribe to us as well. Why not?
I feel like this one is just really embarrassing, because when I lived in England, we knew about drive-through restaurants in America and thought, that looks a bit too extravagant. What's wrong with catching a bus and then walking the extra half a mile to get to the place and ordering your food there? At least then you justify the calories you're about to eat at, say, McDonald's. And I held on to that feeling for quite a while, but then I turned 40 and realised that I like my comforts, that I'm lazy, and that my dog Arthur really likes drive-throughs, because it often comes with the promise of a puppuccino. And since I left Britain, I have heard that drive-thrus have popped up in Britain. And if you are British,
they're everywhere.
This, have you experienced drive-thrus where you live? And if so, do they drive in the opposite direction around the building to here? Speaking of things that got lost in translation, wouldn't it be nice if we had an app that helped us with translation? We do. It's called Mondly.
With over 125 million users, Mondly is among the top 5 language learning apps in the world.
He's slipping it in there,
I've been
isn't he?
using it to brush up on my Spanish, especially since now you can get part in Mondly's back to school sale.
As someone who's really low.
We'll move it on.
Number 2, mixer taps. You might have seen my YouTube short from last week where I spoke about
drive-throughs. Yeah, we got all them.
Yeah,
we got drive-throughs at KFC, Burger King. The only one I haven't seen, I know there is. I know they do exist, Starbucks drive-throughs, but I haven't seen one in my local area. But we've definitely got your traditional
drive-throughs all over the place.
Yeah, the main fast food restaurants we've got.
Yeah, there's a drive-through Starbucks. There's 2 in Basingstoke.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, we haven't got one immediately near us. I know there's a couple.
Yes.
Into the cities. All right.
About this phenomenon, which is less of a phenomenon and more just the norm in most places in the world.
Mixed
but not
taps.
in Britain. And if you don't know the reasons for that, go and watch the short in question. The point is, in the house that I grew up in Britain, and just most houses in Britain, the bathrooms and the kitchens have sinks with separate hot and cold taps. For 26 years, I had to wash my hands like this. Get some soap, nice and foamy. Turn on the hot tap while getting foam on it. Run your hands under that. That's bloody hot. Turn on the cold tap to cool them down. Ah, that's nice. That's really nice. it's actually getting a bit too cold now, and they're done. And I never once thought to myself, there must be an easier way to do this. I did turn the taps off too, I'm not wasting water. And then I moved to America, and I noticed there was just one faucet in the sinks in the house that I lived in initially. I just thought, well, maybe this is a quirk of this particular house, and didn't really think too much of it. But I did like the fact that you could choose the temperature that came out of the tap. It didn't have to be scalding hot, it didn't have to be freezing cold, it could be somewhere in between. That said, I don't think in the middle is the perfect temperature. That's too lukewarm. I'm the sort of person who gets his steak medium well, and so when I've had a steak and my hands are all greasy, I like my temperature to be medium well. I might have thought about this too much.
I think you haven't been to Britain, mate, for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I think I ever see single taps still might be in an old bathroom in a pub from 1950 or something. I mean, my house have all got mixed taps on, and all the houses that I've lived in pretty much for the last 15 to 20 years. So I know you can get old, the old school houses built many years ago, but I think that most of the houses have been upgraded now to the...
No, I mean, my house is quite new, still separate.
Yours is separate?
On the bathrooms. Sinks, I mean, kitchen sinks are all mixer taps now, aren't they, everywhere you go?
Yeah, my bath's a mixer tap.
Yeah. No, our bathrooms are still separate. The reason for that was going back, because I mean, our cold water comes off the mains, and the hot water normally comes off a separate cistern, so they were always kept separate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's still like that. I mean, I've still got cold mains coming into my tap for cold, and obviously the hot water for hot water tap. But I have luckily got the mixer tap.
Yeah, I mean, most baths are still separate to two different. No, they're not. Ours is one single one. Yes, just the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink is two separate taps still.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my bath is mixed. Normal taps are mixed, but there you go. All right. So there you go.
So, yeah,
depends.
I think depends how old your house is.
Yeah.
But all right, Vans, as in Vans trainers or Vans?
Vans. Let's find out.
One of the biggest American things that I can't live without, and one that I've not really spoken about publicly, is vans. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Lawrence, you and Tara have a Prius. That's hardly a van, is it? Well, calm down, you keyboard warrior. Is it warrior? Warrior? Because I'm not referring to the vehicle type. I'm referring to Vans shoes. And as you can see, these are a little worn and dog-eaten, and they're in the process of being replaced. But the point is, these are my favourite shoe brand. And you might be thinking, Lawrence, I didn't know you were a skater boy, because as we know, Avril Lavigne is a massive fan of this channel. And I'm not a skater boy, although granted I did once have an addiction to Tony Hawk's 3. The point is, I am somebody with long legs, rubbish knees, and I don't like shoelaces.
Now, I should add that Vans has lace-up shoes too, but they are pointless.
Now, this is not sponsored by Vans. If it was, I'd probably show much nicer pairs of shoes. But I've just become a fan, a van fan, or a van. And they're comfortable. I walk in these every day with Arthur when he's not treating them like a meal. And they've been everywhere with me, from the beaches of Lake Michigan to the mountainsides of West Virginia. And they've got the scars and the odour to prove it.
Okay.
Fair enough. Vans? Trainers? Vans? You a fan of Vans?
Nah, more Sketcher man now, mate. Especially with them slide-in ones.
Oh, the old slip-ins.
Easy on, the slip-ins, yeah. They're perfect, mate. Don't even have to bend down now.
No, I mean Vans. Yeah, I've owned a pair of Vans trainers. I mean they're all right. Really is. There's so many brands now that sort of took off Vans. I guess Vans are the original for that. With I suppose Converse have got involved. Yeah. Toms are involved now. So all those sort of type of shoes, and all the major brands do those sort of shoes. So.
Yeah,
but
like I say,
he can't live without them though. So fair play to him.
Because of the skateboard sort of scene, didn't they? Vans were the main ones for those.
Yes.
But yeah, I've got a multitude.
Americans, did you ever think that you'd hear a British person say this? I can't live without American English. Now for me, more than most people, that's true because firstly, it forms part of the basis of my job. comparing and contrasting our two countries' varieties of English. But it also plays a big part in my everyday life. I mean, firstly, I'm married to an American-born citizen. Secondly, and I've done videos about the precise Americanisms in question, I myself have picked some up. Many, in fact. You know, I come from a country where we are forever fearful of the Americanization of English within Britain. The thing is that I would say to that is that Britain lost that fight a long time ago. For instance, any British person, and this is 90% of us, who've ever used the word hangover are upset that we have one, but at this point are probably completely unaware that the word hangover originated in American English more than a century ago. Now, I wonder if British people at the time had the same reservations over the word hangover as they do quite a lot of American English. But then it got me thinking, we don't take any issue with most American English terms that make it over to Britain.
Whether it's military-derived words like radar or musical genres like jazz and rock and roll.
Or a word as simple as hello. American English and British English have long influenced each other and will continue to do so long after I'm dead. And on that happy note, it's time to get up off the sofa.
I would say American English is fine. Like, I think for me...
Diners.
Yeah, I think it's fine. You know, never had an issue. I mean, for me, it's the pronunciation more than anything of, you know, we say aluminium, you say aluminum, we say root, you say route, tomato. So
I think
it's just pronunciation
localization,
changes,
isn't it? Yeah, and as you mentioned there, the spellings as well. Sometimes, you know, we add an extra T in there for omelette when one will do.
Yeah, or flavour, or colour, things like that. You know, we chuck in the U's.
Yeah, just to confuse.
Chuck in the U's just to confuse. There you go. Hey. All right, we make them up on this channel. Right, mudrooms.
And that's because I want to talk about one particular room in my house, and that is the mudroom. And even though you find mudrooms in other countries like Canada and even to some extent Britain, it just feels like more American houses have them. And you might be thinking, what is a mudroom? Well, a mudroom, as I've pointed out in previous videos, is a sort of entryway that just allows you to drag mud in there before you enter the main part of the house. I mean, that might not be its official purpose, but that's what I use it for. And especially since I got a dog. You know, he likes to run around in this yard. Sometimes he drags me too, and so when we come back from doing that, I make sure we hang out in here first so that I don't have to bother getting a towel and drying his feet off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you the main reason that I've fallen in love with this mudroom is it's a very convenient place just to store rubbish. I don't mean mouldy rubbish like food or stuff like that, but just sort of empty boxes that I don't have room in the recycling bin for yet. I've just realised that everything on this list is something that I could live without if I wasn't lazy. But the fact of the matter is, I am. Brings us on to the final entry.
I think most of us are, Becca.
Over the last 2 weeks, it's become very apparent to me that I couldn't make this video without including a piece of furniture that I spoke about a few...
We don't have much, just to clarify that, most houses... We do have them, but we don't...
Country houses, farms, they all have mud rooms because you... traipsing in mud.
But the standard house, the average house, would not have a mud room.
No, I mean, we're walking on pavement, so you don't really go in the mud that often, but yeah, country houses, farms, they'll all have a mud room.
A few weeks ago, in a video all about American furniture, and that is Adirondack chairs. It's been a good few weeks. I've used them very often while sitting outside.
It just
with
looks so
Arthur.
bloody uncomfortable.
Now, granted, it is the summer, so it sort of makes sense that I am out here, but I can imagine that I'll probably be using these in the height of winter, just not in a t-shirt, but a winter jacket. Because like vans, they are comfortable, and you might be thinking, aren't they just like a deck chair? And firstly, no, because you don't have to fold them up and put them away. And secondly, on deck chairs, your arse doesn't fall back because there's not that diagonal slope, whereas with these there is, and again appeals to my laziness. And then of course the arms that I spoke about in that video are majestic. I mean, you can fit your phone on it for one, and number two, you could probably play an entire board game. I've got this idea that my wife or friends will bring along their other Adirondack chair, put it here so that they're sitting there, and we'll just put a board here, play checkers. The one thing that I didn't mention in that video is that they're really easy to clean, and I know that because they're constantly getting covered in bird shit. That is one of the downsides of having it under a magnolia tree, which is so massive I didn't really have any choice.
Fair enough.
So that's my list. Like something you could knock up out of a pallet, innit? You know, some pallet wood, knock up an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it does, now that he's sat like that, I mean, it does look quite comfortable in position.
Yeah.
It must be quite hard to get out of.
Yeah.
Do you know, getting in and out of them chairs looks a bit difficult, and that's just for me.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, comfort-wise, and as he says, you know, you can store quite a lot on those arms. So your snacks,
oh yeah,
TV remote,
cup of tea,
okay. Cup of tea.
lovely jubbly.
All right.
Or at least a partial list, because like I said, there's hundreds of other things that I could have included. And if this video does well, my producers say, then we'll do a part 2. If it tanks, then we'll just push that part 2 on.
There is a part 2,
If you did like
actually.
this video and
We'll
you were
follow up
interested
with
in what I
part
was
2.
saying about my Adirondack
Yeah,
chair,
yeah.
why not watch this video for furniture styles that I only encountered after moving to the United States. Until the next video, goodbye.
Oh, that'd be quite good to
Cheers.
know. Yeah, I mean,
He's a
He's
massive
certainly
fan of
looking
this
the
channel.
part now, isn't he?
he is. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've been following him on and off for a few years now, haven't we? And
Yeah.
he does come up with some good videos. And yeah, you're right. He's certainly looking
16
American.
years, though. Fair play, mate.
Yeah,
Been
it's a
there
long,
while,
long
hasn't he?
time, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And clearly
haven't found
enjoying
out.
himself. So
Yeah.
fair play.
Oh, good. But some of those, yeah. Some of the, like I say, I mean, I guess he didn't say we haven't got them here. We have got them here. It's just
No.
that he couldn't live without them. So drive-throughs, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, especially, you know, when you're in the sort of Florida heat and you get out, you forget when you're in your aircon truck how cool it is. Then you get out and you melt. You go, I'll just drive through. What's
Yeah.
the point? Yeah.
No, yeah. That's cool, man. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today at Britpop.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's 6 American things that
Yes.
the lovely Lawrence can't live without, and a few of those for our discussion on, you know, could we live
Yeah.
without them?
Anything you can't live without, pop it in the comments. We'll see if we agree, and maybe if there's enough of them, we'll do our own one. What you can't live without.
Yeah. 6 British things that we can't do without.
Mixed taps on either side of the sink.
Brilliant. Bye.
Bye.